Yes. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for a few more people, but I'm excited. How's your day?
My day's actually been really, really good. So
Yes.
that's good. How have you
My
been?
background. I love this.
Oh, thank you. I hate how it's like backwards. So I'm gonna try to
Right.
like do it backwards so the next time it's okay. But
I don't know why Instagram plays like this. It's ridiculous.
plays too much.
They don't want us to succeed, but it's
We gonna succeed anyway. But how was your
exactly
day?
period. Hey everyone. Yes. Okay, let me put her socials and everything down here.
Okay.
Um
I see you outside soaking up the sun.
I have to because as soon as the summer goes away, I'm gonna be so hurt.
Really? You don't like the fall? No? You like that? You like the heat?
I'm a summer baby, so I
Oh,
love
okay.
everything there is
Okay,
with
see, now I was waiting on this season, child. I'm ready to put some clothes on.
I am not ready at all. Hey everyone, we're just waiting for a few more people to get in and then we are going to start. Do not want to hold up y'all time at all. All right. Let's see if Instagram cooperating today. Okay. It's fun for me too, for sure. Right. I feel like the East Coast went through like a very short transition. Like there was
Yeah.
no
We
slowly
ain't
but
got no
surely getting
time.
cold.
Yep,
Exactly.
I agree.
I was not ready. I was like, see, I was still wearing short
Sorry, let me buy
shorts.
a sweater first, okay?
Exactly. Can I get some cute clothes? Haven't been outside all summer.
No, seriously.
All right. So I'm gonna just start. As people come in, we'll just do it that way. Well,
Okay.
first and foremost, thank you everyone for being on the live. If you have any questions throughout the live, obviously, just drop them and I'll make sure that we both can see them and we answer them. Love that.
The natural sounds. Natural sounds.
The natural sounds, we're giving ambiance here. Okay. So, as the pin comment says, this overall thing of this live will be how to quit wasting time. Because I feel like with the pandemic and with this time, I feel like, especially for me, there were times where I was just wasting a lot of time. I wanted to quit on myself before I was even ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt like if this was something that I was going through, probably other people are going through it. And I have my amazing special guest, and I'm just going to let her introduce herself because she is a Jane of all trades. Come on now.
Oh, is she now? Hey, y'all. I am Karyatu Jallo. I'm the founder of Crown Corner, Crown Combos, Boys to Kings. And those are my babies. So I pretty much just gear everything that I do around mental and emotional health. And under 4 pillars, it's live, laugh, learn, love. So those are all of the things and areas that I specialize in and I post about and create content for. So that's a little bit about me. I just recently graduated from the best HBCU, period, North Carolina A&T,
Yes.
Aggie Pride. I was a journalism major and a psychology minor. So now I'm back for my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So that's a little bit about me. Oh, and I'm from Pretty Girl County, Prince George's County, okay? So we're
So you
here.
already know it's about to be a great Instagram live.
Yes.
Like when I tell you guys, I was like, this is the perfect person to be on this live with me for this content because I've been following her page for a few months now. And when I tell you one is aesthetically pleasing, chef's kiss, it's great. But not only is it visually pleasing, the content is needed. Like especially now, I feel like there's not a lot of people doing it the way that you are doing it. And I just truly appreciate you for being on this live today. But
Thank you
like
for
I
having
said,
me.
you're welcome. I don't want to hold up anyone's time, so I'm just going to give a brief background of why I wanted to do this. And then we're just
Okay.
going to go right on to the 5 things, and we're going to piggyback off of each other.
Okay.
So if you don't follow me, my name is Alicia Brown. I am the host and founder of the Lituation Room podcast, where we talk about real conversations with real people. One of my posts that I did was a post about kind of breaking the barrier of should, would, could, and just changing it to did. Like you're doing it, you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
And the caption pretty much said, if this year has taught us, really me, anything, it is that we don't have time to waste, especially with all of these unfortunate tragedies that have been happening with this pandemic and just this year in general, because I feel like this year has just kicked our butts. So it reminded me that life is short and that the best way to live life is to make sure that you're living it to the fullest and doing the things that are making you happy and not other people. So I came up with these 5 things that I saw on a Twitter post, which I will leave on my page because I want to make sure that this person gets credit. But there were 5 things that he suggested to quit wasting time, and it just wrapped up everything that I wanted to talk about today. So the 5 things are: stop people pleasing, stop fear, stop fearing change. The third one is stop living in the past. The fourth
Mm-hmm.
one is don't doubt yourself. And the fifth one is stop overthinking. So we're going to break it down real quick. And jump in if you have any things and gems, because I know she's ready.
Before we get into it, what you said really just was heavy on my heart when you introduced it and you talked about how we've been experiencing so many losses, especially in our community. So it's on my heart to, can we just do like a quick moment of silence
Yeah.
to honor all of the people that we've lost? Because now my heart's a little heavy, so I feel like that'll help ease me back up. So I'm gonna probably count to maybe like 30 in my head, and we can go from there. Whew, okay, I feel better now.
That was needed. And I love everybody that's in here. Okay. So the first one is stop people pleasing.
Ooh,
Me being the person that I am, I feel like I was raised to do things for certain people. Not saying random people or strangers, but mostly for my
mm-hmm.
family.
Yeah,
I think of my family as my biggest support system. If I need anything, my mom is there. My brothers are there for me. My friends even are my family. And I feel like with everything that they do for me, I only try to give as much back, if even it's an ounce. And I feel like at one point I was living my life to make sure that people were okay with what I was doing.
mm-hmm.
I went to college as a criminal justice major. Granted, I love criminal justice, love law, love everything that comes with it. But I
Mm-hmm.
realized that that wasn't completely going to fuel me because my mom always told me that in life you want to be able to wake up every morning and love what you're doing, regardless of if it's a job or you're just working out or just living life in general, just making sure that it's pleasing you. And it
Yeah,
didn't really register until I went to college and had to make that change of switching majors or making that change to even start this podcast because I didn't think that people were gonna like it, but here we are.
yeah. Here we are.
But I think the biggest thing for me was just reminding myself that this was no one else's life but my own. And at the
Mm,
end of the day, I had to be happy with what I did with my
yeah,
life. Like when I become old and gray, I want to be able to sit back and tell my grandkids or just reminisce about the life that I had and knowing that everything that I did was for myself. Yes, it's great to keep your support system in mind,
yeah,
but it shouldn't be your sole driven focus in everything that you do.
yeah. I agree. I think that it's like you go through this journey where at first you're told who you're gonna be. So like growing up, people tell you, you know, like who they want you to be, what they want you to become, the goals and dreams that they have for you. Sometimes even before you're born, and throughout life, it's like when you're young, it's like you can't really do much. You don't really experience much. I mean, everybody has their own personal experiences based on different things, but you don't really start to find your identity until you're more conscious and aware of what life is, what you want out of life, what there is out there, what you're exposed to, what you find out along the way. It's like all of those things kind of tie into who you ultimately want to become. So now you have this person that they told you were going to be, this person that you know you want to be, but it's this middle gray area that is so hard to get out of. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that ties directly into both stop people pleasing and then one of the other points about leaving the past in the past, because it's so
Mm-hmm.
hard to take away from like, okay, I made these mistakes and I'm viewed as this one person, but that doesn't align with who I want to be or even who people prayed for me to be. So now
Mm-hmm.
who am I? What am I
Exactly.
doing? So I think if you keep people in the back of your mind, you're going to stay in that gray area. But the moment that you say, look, the person that I want to be, my vision is far more important than what everybody else saw in me and things of that sort. So I feel like that's one of the first steps is really finding out who is it that you want to be. Like you said, your legacy, the
Mm-hmm.
stories you want to be able to tell your grandkids someday.
Right.
What the story will be even after you're gone. What did you leave behind? What will people remember you for? All of those things matter. And every step that you take from here on out to get out of that gray area and stay out of that gray area is important. So I loved everything about that part. Like I love that that's number one on the list because one of my favorite quotes is from Taraji P. Henson, and she says, "If you listen to people and you allow people to project their fears onto you, you won't live." And
Mm-hmm.
that's so true. Because sometimes a lot of people, you might have this big goal and this big dream, and they don't even have the capacity to think that far, or to think that
Right.
uniquely, or to think outside the box. So they're going to try to tell you, oh, don't move to that place because it's so many deaths going around. It's death everywhere. Or don't take that job because I heard that the company that it might not have worked for that person, but it could be my breakthrough, you know? So a lot of people are small minded and they'll try to put all of that onto you, and it could be discouraging if you're not firm in who you are and you're not living your life to please everybody else.
Right. And I feel like with that, it may be hard for people to look at the big picture at first because I know that a lot of times people are just like, well, do this. And it's like, well, how? How
Yeah,
are we
yeah.
going to get
Where do I start?
that? So
Can
the
I get
thing
some
that I started,
directions?
exactly. The thing that I started doing was just writing it down day by day, writing down the things that I wanted to accomplish for myself that day. And as I started to get through that list, it was reminding me that I made that decision to wash clothes today, or I made a decision to take a walk outside. It's the small things that are pleasing to me every single day. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be these big giant goals that we have to accomplish in like 10 years. It could be something that you want to accomplish in 1 hour,
Yeah.
and it's that is purely just for you. So I feel like at least do one thing that is pleasing for you. That's something that you want to do, not your parents, not your friends, not any outside influence. Just take it one day at a time, one thing every day that is only something that you want to do.
And then reward yourself. Give yourself the
Yeah.
credit for those small wins. Like a win
Mm-hmm.
is a win in my book. I
Right.
don't think that there is a such thing as a small win. Like every little thing that I
Right.
do, oh, I deserve a break. Or I deserve this. I deserve that. Like, and I was standing that unapologetically. Like I could not touch something for my 5-year plan for a week straight. But if I did those little things every day, like you said, oh, I'm good. And
Mm-hmm.
I deserve a break on the weekend. And can't nobody tell me nothing. So
Hey,
I
hey,
feel like
nobody. Nothing.
I feel like showing yourself that grace and mercy and then rewarding yourself is essential.
Right. Because knowing me, when I do things that I love, I'm ready to go tropical smoothie. I don't know about nobody else,
Girl,
but
I just went there today with my friend Lexi, girl, and I was like, I needed this. I deserved this.
all
Yes.
right, we're going to keep it moving for people. Hey, everyone that's joining the live. So, the second part of the 5 things to quit wasting your time is stop fearing change. The quote that I wrote down was the best things are on the other side of fear. I believe that in order to get to the life changing things and the things that just really fuel you, you have that internal fear because it's uncomfortable. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what's next?
I don't
Because
know
it's
what to
so
expect.
crazy to you that you don't know what's on the other side. And sometimes people in your life haven't experienced that either. So you don't have that advice support that you're probably like, okay, well, can you tell me how your experience happened? There's other people
Girl.
that haven't gone through that path as you. So it's sometimes you just have to take that leap. And I know that's hard because I'd be real scared. It took me 2 years to start this podcast, but we're here now.
We here.
It's those senses of fear that sometimes are the best decisions that you've ever made in your life that get to those 10-year goals and those 5-year goals. Sometimes it's just the little things that slowly increase to the bigger outcome of things, and sometimes it's getting past that small path of fear, because in the greater scheme, that fear is only a small
Part of the bigger picture.
part
Yep.
in your journey is so
I
much
agree.
bigger than that, and you don't even know your full potential until you pass by that stumbling
I
block.
I agree. I think it's so important to figure out the root of that too, because I meet people that are so bold and so brave and they're willing to do any and everything. Like people that will pack up and move to a different side of the world with $20 in their pockets. And I'm like, how do you have that courage? And you have to start thinking back about how everything is linked. Like I used to struggle so much with change. And it wasn't until I was more conscious and aware that it was a problem that I started to try to find the root of that problem. Then I thought about it. I'm like, I was a person that I never switched schools. So like every school I was in for the longevity of it. I was in K through 6 at my elementary school. I was in 7th through 8th at my middle school. I was in 9th through 12th at my high school. I wasn't a transfer girl. I never experienced that weird feeling of being the new girl, because when I came into a situation, we're all new. So we start from the bottom. And then I also had never moved. Well, the only time that I remember moving was when I was very young. I was a newborn, and we moved into our space now when I was 1. I've lived there forever. So now I have to make this decision to go to college, and I'm like, I'm going out of state. That's scary for me especially. And then I look at my sister that's directly younger than me, Aaliyah. She was the opposite. She went to about 2 different elementary schools. Like she got to experience that. So she's a lot more open to trying new things. So I had to say, wait a minute, I need to figure this out. And then my mom was explaining to me like a lot of that stems from my father's that way. He likes structure. He likes things to be, like together and comfortable. So
Right.
I had to unlearn all of the things I had learned growing up and I didn't have a choice in. And I had to say, you know what? I got to take a leap of faith. And at first, I almost allowed that fear to creep back up. I was like, that's it. I'm over this North Carolina thing. I'm moving back home to what I know. And thank God I didn't, because now I'm here. And it's like, you only really fear the unknown. So it's the fact that I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what was on the other side of that door. So now I'm scared to open it. It's like, if I continue to live my life like that, I'm not going to do anything, because everything in life is a risk. Walking outside my door every day is a risk. You just never know. Like we make ourselves more vulnerable than I think we think. And it's like, sometimes it takes for something tragic to happen to either yourself or someone else for you to realize that, okay, there's danger out here, or this could happen.
Right.
This is possible. This is real. So one thing that this year has definitely brought to the forefront is that this stuff, no one's exempt from it. No one's exempt from all of the craziness that's out there in the world. Like we're all vulnerable beings living life just on a whim. So it's like, after you realize that, comfort, what's that? You're not even gonna want that anymore. Like me, keep me on my toes. I want to be able to be like, oh, what's next? Like I want to be excited for the next journey. Like being comfortable now, to me, I don't want nothing to do with it to a certain extent. But you have to figure out why it is that you're so scared or afraid of change, and then after you get to the bottom of it, do something to change it. I had to put in intentional work, but I will say it was so worth it, because without it, I wouldn't be doing this.
Exactly. And I feel like I also want people to know that, yes, find the root of the fear, but don't think that, or root of why you don't like change, but don't feel like it's just going to change overnight, because it's not.
Oh, yeah. It's a
process. You have to put in that work. Like you said, it's not just something that, oh, okay, well, I know why I don't like change. Well, what are you going to do about it? What is the thing you're going to do to get over that fear? Because like we said, you need to stop fearing it, because on the other side could be something that changes your entire perspective of life. So
Yes.
what are you going to do? I'm gonna pose that to the people that are in the chat. What are you going to do to get away from your fear of change, or what have you done to get away from your fear of change? Either one, because we don't know what life path people are in. So I'm gonna give both questions, and I'm
Yes.
gonna read them as they come in. But as they come in, we're gonna move on to the next thing, which I think is my favorite one out of all five, which is stop living in the past. And I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna piggyback off of you.
Let that ish go. Oh my gosh.
Period.
I feel like the past is a point of reference, not residency. Like, do not live there. You can refer back to it, all the lessons that you learned, all the people that have come in and out. Use that as something that fuels you, but don't use that as like, I want to stay there. I feel like, let me use an example, especially as a woman. I feel like a lot of my things with the past are directly aligned to people, not only experiences, but more so people. So let's say I'm thinking about a memory that I'm very fond of. I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss this, I miss this person, I miss this experience. I'm gonna reach out to them. For what? Like, you can remember, you can
Mm-hmm.
embrace those memories. That doesn't mean that you take a step back and
Exactly.
get rid of all that work you put in to reach back out or open that door to allow them to come back into your space and into your life. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's just a light example. Like, we can take it deeper and we can talk about all these other things, but it's a place of reference. Like, I can look back and say, wow, like those were good times. I liked how free I was back then. And then I can take that positive thing that came out of something that could have been a negative situation, and I can re-add that back into my life now. But that
Right.
doesn't make me change who I was or go back to who I used to be. Like, it's a place of reference, not residency. Your past is your past for a reason. Do not let it interfere to the point where it's interrupting your present and negatively affecting your future.
That was a gem. Hold on, you got to say that one again. Say that one again, because I was like, ooh, that hit my soul.
Listen, your past is a place of reference, not residency. You don't live there no more.
Don't.
Okay, move on out and don't look back.
Oh my gosh. With me, I feel like for a long time, I think my senior year of high school was kind of like when a lot of change was happening. And I was going to a past place where I was just like, okay, well, in the past, I've done it this way. In the past, it's worked out for me. Obviously, I'm here, and sometimes it can't be the same way that it's been before. Sometimes you just have to do a quick 360 or a 180, because 360 is going back the other way. But a quick 180 to move on to the next chapter. Reference. You can reference, but you can't reside, as you said. You can't completely feel like the past is how your present or your future is going to be. Sometimes, like you said, you have to look back at the past to know how things are going to change later in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Once in a while, it's important to reference the past to make sense of the present in order to be able to change the
Of
future.
course.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Um,
You
you
need
always
you need the past. We're not going to ignore the past. We're
right,
going to use it as their reference point, as those notes, as like
exactly,
the study guide, the blueprint. Been there, done that. Now, how does that
exactly.
apply to, where I'm at now?
Exactly. And one thing I think is past failures in general. Like, I feel like people don't want to get through that fear of change because in the past they failed at certain things. Well, like my friend said in the chat, take that failure as a means of learning. Reference that point of, okay, these are the things that I did. They didn't go well. Let's go back and see why they didn't go well. Let's make a list of things that, okay, maybe we can change this and that can be better. Or like for a business, some businesses fail. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Most people, the Fortune 500 companies, did not start that company as their first company. They've gone through trial and error, and you have to take each company that failed as a lesson, as a stepping stone to getting to that place. And if you
Yeah.
don't take that time to reference your past and look at what happened, you're not going to be able to make that successful company or successful business that you want to do. So, like she said, y'all need to write that down, because I'm going to write that down later. You're using the past as a reference, not a residency. Okay, y'all.
You
I want to
don't
make sure
live
that y'all
there
got
no
that. If I had to
more.
say it again.
Pack them
Exactly.
bags and get up out of there, okay?
All right. And we're moving right on. If y'all have any questions, please drop them or anything that you want to say. Because I want this to be as interactive as possible. I love all the things that people are saying so far.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think some people
Someone said,
answer our
okay,
questions.
drag me. Ah. Just take the leap of faith and take failure as a means of
Yeah.
learning. Just do it, breathe, and just take the risk. Love that. Love that.
Period.
All right. The fourth one is don't doubt yourself. I'm a hypocrite because sometimes I doubt myself. So we just going to use this as a learning block for me because I feel like I also want to mention that everything that we're talking about today is not something that is going to stay consistent. You have to learn that life is a journey. Sometimes you go through these changes where you don't fear change anymore or you don't doubt yourself anymore. And then you have to remember when that time comes again, because it may, you have to remember how it felt to overcome it in the past, referencing the past. But I was very big on doubting myself with things, particularly with this podcast. So I've dropped merch for people who don't know, but for a very long time, I was very self conscious about doing that because I was like, I don't have the follower base, or I don't think that people are going to really buy what I'm putting my work into. I don't want to put up these late nights, early mornings designing something that no
Nobody.
one's going to buy.
Yeah.
It's just me buying
Mhm.
merch. Or me putting all this content into my podcast and no one's listening, or it's not registering with people at the capacity that I want them to. And I feel like for a very long time, I would hinder myself instead of stop thinking about what can't happen instead of thinking of what could happen, what can happen, what will happen.
Mhm.
And I had to really change my mindset. And thankfully, I have an amazing support system who kind of keeps me to make sure that I'm not always in that space because
Yeah.
you have to allow yourself to be in that space because it's a feeling. It's a human feeling to doubt yourself. We are human. We are not God. We are not the Superman on the block. Like, we are not that person. We have flaws. We look at ourselves, especially outwardly or internally, we look at ourselves and we're our worst critic. Other people could see the beauty that we don't see, and sometimes you just have to sit in it. Don't dwell in it, but sit in it. Let it, take its course. Let the feeling ride, but know that the feeling has to be gone, though. We can't let
Yeah.
the feeling sink in our spirit. We have to let it go.
That's the
But
goal for sure.
I feel like with this season of life, I've had to really learn how to not let that doubt really hold me down and hold the places that I want to go and the people that I want to meet and the experiences that I want to have. Because if you doubt yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. How are you going to get places when you keep holding your own self back? No one else is holding you back but yourself.
And the people that are gonna try to hold you back are gonna come. So you have to be so firm in what you're doing and so confident in yourself that when they come, you're equipped to better handle that situation. And full
Right.
transparency, if I didn't have the breakthrough that I had this morning, I would not be on this live right now because everything that I said would have been null and void. Because just last night, early this morning, to be honest, I was up at like what, 2 a.m. I think is when I woke up randomly. And I was just like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. And I feel like sometimes it's so easy to suffer from imposter syndrome because, like you just reacted,
Mm.
people look at me and they're like, you're not doing enough. In their heads, I'm doing too much. And I'm like, no, like I feel like I'm selling myself short. I could be doing more. I could be applying myself more. And other people won't see that. So I'm so hard on myself. It's like I had to take a step back, sleep on it. I talked to my person and they were telling me like even superwomen need, like days off. Sometimes she don't even look at her cake. And you need to take
Mm-hmm.
a break. And I thought about it and I planned out intentionally planned out. I'm gonna take a break soon because I need to recharge and refuel and just refocus myself so that I can come back better than before. And we need to allow ourselves that grace. Like, yes, I'll miss my community for however long the break is. Yes, I'll miss out on certain things, but at the end of the day, I'm more important. And if I start to feel that spirit of self doubt and that imposter syndrome just starts spurring out of my pores, it's like, that's when I know, okay, no, you need to regroup, because I still deserve all the credit for what I am doing without trying to like worry so much about what I'm not doing or what I could be doing, like you explained. So self-doubt is something that it can really eat you up if you allow it to. So the moment that you sense yourself doubting yourself, you need to regroup. Whatever works for you, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's looking back and reflecting on things that you've done and accomplished, whatever that looks like for you, make sure you do it. Writing yourself affirmations, putting things in front of you. Some people, they need to see it, like putting up some certificates that you've won and some accolades and some awards. Whatever you need to remind yourself of who you are, you need to do it. Because I had to look at myself and say, you tripping off of what? Girl, if you don't snap out of it, you're capable. You're here. There's people that didn't wake up this morning and you did. That within itself is major.
Yes.
That within itself deserves grace and deserves attention.
Yes.
Like, give yourself those mercies. So, listen, make sure you got some strong people in your corner that can support you when you're down. Make sure that along that or with that, you have your own strength. You know, like you have your own just mirror. Like, you're that girl. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Now do it. Okay.
Now do it. That's the now you got to do it. You got to put the work in. Self-evaluation necessary. Exactly. You have to. I feel like what you said was taking a break. I take breaks occasionally with this podcast, this platform, and it's not because, oh well, it's time. It's never planned. It's always, okay, I'm starting to feel like I need a break, and I had to. Right. And I had to get through this point of, I'm a workaholic. If I'm not busy, my friends know this. If I'm not busy, I feel like I'm slacking. If I don't have something to do every single day, I feel like, what am I doing? Like, I should be working. Like, I should be doing something right now. So I'll make myself work. I'll make busy work for myself that I don't need to do. So I needed to remind myself, okay, you don't want to burn out, because this is something that I love to do. And if you burn out, you're going to be pissed.
And you ain't gonna have nothing left.
And I was just like, I had to think about my mental health and my capacity and what I could handle. But not only for myself, but my audience. Are they going to consume the information if it's quote unquote half-assed? Because I'm not taking that time to really breathe, not sit on my phone and make content, not keep thinking of what's next, just taking that breath. And the best people that I've learned from when I'm networking, the one thing that I ask them all the time is, how do they keep going? How do they manage so much? And that was a question that someone had asked for you to answer. And a lot of the times the same person, the different people would come with the same answer. They would know when to take a break. They would know when to take a step back. And I was like, what? What do you mean take a step back? What do you mean stop working? If I stop working, someone else is going to take that slot of mine. So I've always been told, while you're sleeping, someone else is doing 10 times more than you. But it's like, I need sleep. I don't know about y'all, but I like sleep. So I got to sleep. And sometimes you have to remind yourself to take that break, because maybe that break during that time, it fuels you. You get this sense of re-spark, because sometimes you lose that spark, and it's natural, and you have to kind of gain it back. And during that time of complete, okay, I can realign what I'm thinking. I can realign and put this energy that I've gotten back out into the world, because I'm a very big person on whatever you give out to the world, you're going to give back. So I don't want any negativity coming back to me, because I'm not taking time for myself.
Yeah. And it's good to like just release. We consume so much on a day-to-day. So imagine how much you consume between breaks. It's like you need to regroup. I say stuff all the time. People think I'm joking, but I'm always so serious. I was talking to my friend earlier, and I was like, sometimes I need to free up space in order to gain, like to make room for some more stuff. So if I forget something, I probably did it on purpose. Like I literally did something to clear up some space. Oh, look, my mommy's in here. Hey, mom. But
hey,
it's like you have to free up that space, because we're not machines. Like you said, you're a workaholic. I think that's something that was put on us, especially us Black women. We're taught to just do for everybody and be everything for everybody. And my best friend told me one time, you can be anything but not everything. And those are probably one of the most amazing things I've heard, because
Come on, friend.
that is so true. You can be anything you want to be, but there's no way you, one person, can be everything. It's not right. That's not how it's meant to be. You have your own individual purpose, your own individual talents, gifts that you need to share with the world. But you can't do everything.
Right.
Everything is not for you. And what you said about, you know, like while you're sleeping, somebody else's work, that's fine. But baby, like you said, I need sleep and I got a bedtime. We're not going to play about sleep.
Not
and you
at all.
want to stay up all night long looking at numbers and content and color schemes, baby, you go ahead. But Kariatu is going to be sleep. And hopefully she's going to be dreaming, okay, about something real nice. Because we've been conditioned to just work. Life is not all about working. Because when we're gone, yes, our work will, you know, show for itself. But that's not what you want to leave this earth with. I want to strip this world of everything it's got for me. I want to experience everything I'm meant to experience. I don't want to miss out on things because I'm so stuck on work. And speaking of my mom, she's one of those people that I admire because she works her behind off. But baby, that lady knows how to treat herself. That lady knows how to take a break when she needs a break. Like, that's something I see in her, and now we're able to be accountability partners. Because when she does fall short and she puts on that Superwoman cape and she has it on for so long, I'm like, girl, you need to take that off and like dry clean it or something. Like, give it a rest. So we're able to do that, and she's able to do that for me too. So she'll notice when it's like, all right, have you? And she knows what I like, so she'll throw those things out there. Have you done this lately? Have you done? Like, you're right. I should probably do that. Like, it's good to have those people. Be vulnerable with your people. That's what they're here for. We're not meant to do life alone. If that was the case,
right,
we wouldn't have love. We wouldn't have relationships. You know that's right. Here she
yeah,
goes.
mama is so right.
But yeah, like, you gotta really, you know, just live.
And I feel like, speaking of mothers, I'm at my mom's place right now, and before this live, I feel like she really like threw some knowledge into me. My mom just recently retired from a government job, and one thing that everyone knows about me who is close to me knows that my mom is a traveler. This year has really kicked her booty because she could not like, my mom is always gone somewhere. Like, my friends would be like, where your mama at now? Oh, my mama's just in Brazil. Oh, but she about to go somewhere else. And see where she at. I don't know where she is. But I think that with this time of taking time for herself, that was the really big thing. Like, she had to make that decision because she ended up retiring early. And I feel like that was a really big decision that she made that I had to watch her make, because she realized that working every day and working for the same outcome every day was not something that she wanted to do anymore. She's getting up in age. She just wants to be able to travel when she wants to. Yeah. She wants to lay in her bed when she wants to. And she's put in that work, not only for her job, but for her family, for me. My mom is just all I got. Like, I'm her only child. So she's put every ounce of her being into making sure that I'm okay. So it's like she needs to finally take that time for herself. And I feel like when I'm seeing her finally take that time for herself, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to start taking a little bit of time. I'm not there yet, though. I still got some time to take a full break. But every so often, I just need to remind myself that everything that I'm doing is good. You know, step by step, I'm working towards what I want to be. Every day I'm getting closer and closer, and I need to take those times to really remind myself, hey, you're a baby. You're doing it. Like, it's what you're like. Every single day I have to just remind myself that. And I know this is not sound real stupid and real cliche, but I really tell myself that in the mirror every day. With the little iOS 14 update, there's like the little reminder thing that I put on my phone, because I upgraded my phone and like made all the cute stuff. So I put my affirmations that I have to say every morning. Like, when I wake up and like the first thing that we do is going on our phones, I was like, all right, I'm not checking Instagram first. I'm not checking my emails first. Not checking none of that. I'm going to say these affirmations with my full gusto, with my chest, because the more that you say it, the more that you believe it. Even if you don't believe it in that second, the more that you say it, you're going to believe it. You are loved. You are worth it. You are going to be da 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 da. Like for me, I
Yes.
know that I want to be in radio. I want my voice to be on syndicated radio stations.
And will.
So and already there. We waiting for it to show up for the world.
We waiting on
But
the world to catch up, girl. Because we already.
exactly,
Don't worry. You know I
exactly.
know.
So so every morning I have to say that to myself. I am this. I'm not saying you will be or I will be. I am this. I am a radio personality. I am loved. I am worth it. Like you're saying it in the present tense because in your brain it should already be there.
It's written.
You're just
Yep.
waiting for people to see it. You're just waiting for the world to see it. But it's already being seen in your head. God's already seen it if you believe in God. I don't want to throw no religion on nobody. But you just have to remember that the more that you say it, the more that you think it, the more that you stop doubting yourself, the better your outcome. Because yes, we believe in manifestation, but negative manifestation is also a true thing. If you keep doubting yourself and speaking doubts and lies about yourself, the more that it's going to internalize and externalize and become true. So why not speak positively? Say that you're great. You're going to do this and you are doing it instead of putting this negative light on you.
Yes, words are so powerful. I tell people all the time, like, there's certain things I don't joke about. And the power of the tongue is one of those things. I always say my word is good. So good that I'm too scared to say bad things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that used to always jokingly say, oh, I'm broke. I said, absolutely not. Broke is a mindset, baby. And you're feeding your mind with this lie that I'm broke. You're going to be broke. Because even if you aren't, like, even if you have the physical thing, you have the money, your mindset, you're going to be broke. Either you're going to fumble it, you're not going to know what to do with it, you're not even going to feel like it's ever enough, and then you got money, the root of all evil, and then it starts to, it's a lot. And all of those things are connected. And it all starts with you think it, you say it. The things that you say is so important. Like, I'm trying to unlearn some things that just became a part of just like my everyday just lingo, because I realized that those things are bad. You should not be
Mm-hmm.
putting that into the world. Like, and it's not, people try to make it deep, talking about the universe, and they try to say manifestation is taking over praying. No, there's balance. Everything in life has to have balance. There's different ways to do certain things.
I still
Everybody,
pray.
different strokes. And I do both. Now what? Like, thank
Exactly.
you. So I got double the chances. Now what? Like,
What now?
nobody's saying just manifest and don't pray. Absolutely not. Like, for some people, that might be what they choose to do. That's none of your business. Focus on what you got going on. That's the problem with these young folks nowadays. They always worried about what everybody else got going on. They don't got enough space or time to worry about what they need to have going on.
Exactly.
So instead of going on, like you said, our phones is something that we're always on. It's like, instead of going on the shade room to check on whose post you about to comment on today and who you about to shade today, why don't you go look at somebody motivational? Like, you'll see the difference. If I posted a boy tomorrow, like a picture of me and him with a heart emoji, 50 shares, 2 minutes. I post positive stuff all the time.
Can't get one like.
It's like, I have my set community and I love my clique and my crew. Y'all are just my heart. But why is it that the negative things, they shoot out like a rocket? But the positive things, it's like pulling teeth. Like, the ratio is so off. We have to look at ourselves and say, how do I contribute to this? Like, how do I make it change? You have to do the inner work. For me, if it's not my business, I don't care. If it's not somebody I know personally, I don't care. That's how I allow myself to live freely. I be on cloud nine. Sometimes people be telling me something like, that happened to who, or who's that? It's like, you have to choose what you consume. Don't and then my big thing is, don't complain about something you can control. If I had issues with people sharing my stuff, I can turn off that feature. If I'm tired of seeing somebody's content, I can unfollow them. Right. You have the freedom to do those things. Don't complain about something you have control over.
Right.
It's like pouring out negativity for what? That's what you're going to get back. It's negativity.
Exactly.
If somebody was to get up every morning and blast their music, dancing to their music, and you don't like the songs, put your volume down or something. Like, complaining is just negative. It's just a lot. And no, we're not perfect, but you have to catch yourself and check yourself. I'm always checking myself. If I do something or I say something, I'm like, I let my emotions get the best of me, I'll go back and I'll apologize. I'll go back. I'm quick to apologize. I used to be a little too quick to apologize, and I would get in trouble for it. They're like, "You not sorry. Stop saying sorry all the time." I'm like, "Sorry." I mean, like, but you gotta be able to check yourself too. Like the same way people tell you about yourself, tell yourself about yourself. Like Carrie, too, you was tripping when you did that. You did what, girl? Get it together, and then give yourself that grace, that mercy. Forgive yourself and move on. The moment that you start doing that, nobody else's opinion is going to mean more than your own opinion about yourself.
Exactly.
Girl, child.
That's a big thing. I feel like we need to have time to forgive ourselves, to live in that past. Like you said, don't reside. Just have a reference point, but allow ourselves to forgive ourselves. I feel like that's a really big thing. We always forgive other people, but never ourselves. We never take the time to. Why are we giving all this forgiveness out to other people? What is going on? But we fall short. It's fine, but you have to allow yourself to fall short, and you have to be like, okay, well, it's okay. We about to bounce back because again, my name is Alicia, and I'm a bad bitch. And sometimes my crown will tilt, but it won't fall. Come on, it's still there.
It's never gonna fall. But no, seriously.
All right. Hey, everyone that's joining, let it. All right, so the fifth and final one is stop overthinking. Just do it, or whatever Nike said. You can't overthink everything that you are going to do. It's not crucial to your living if you are constantly overthinking everything. Oh no. We're just going to keep talking until she comes back. But you can't keep overthinking things. For me, I feel like I said, I was a workaholic. So I'm always thinking of what's next instead of taking the time to really sit in my presence and sit in the things that I want to accomplish that day. I'm always thinking, okay, what can I do next? What is the next big thing that I need to do? And that's never good. You can't just, well, it's not never good, but it's good to think about next, but not to dwell on it, not to overthink, okay, well, this didn't do so well today. Maybe I shouldn't do it again. Or, that person's thing didn't work out. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Or, no one's going to like the things that I'm doing. Well, the more that you're thinking those things, the more that it's going to happen. The more time that you're thinking about it, the less time that you're actually doing it. And it's just, oh, she's back. I'm going to wait for her to connect. It's taking a minute.
Y'all, Auntie is ghetto. I can't believe they just gave me like that. That's not right. I said, hold on. What they say? They said poor internet. I said, don't worry about it. We're going to hotspot it up. So we're back. I'm so sorry. That's so ghetto.
It's okay. See, we was on a good roll, and they wasn't here for the positivity that we was spreading to people. That's all.
Negative. Just negative. But I heard you was doing your thing, so I'm going to let you finish up that thought, and then you got to refresh me.
I think the last thing that I was going to say was just the more time that you overthink, the less time that you are going to put into action, because you're constantly stopping yourself every time that you take that moment to overthink. And I know I'm a hypocrite. Sometimes I overthink, but the more things that I do, I realize a lot of people do it the same way. So most of the time when I find myself overthinking, I'll just write it down. Once it's written down, it's out of my mind. I'll come back to it later, but I don't have the time to sit there and dwell in, okay, well, this isn't working out. Because like I said, I'm always on go. I'm always doing something. And the more that I dwell on that, I'm going to be like, okay, well, I have to figure this out first before I move on. No.
Yeah.
I write it down, and then I come back to it later. And then I can take the time that I need to process it or do what I got to do, whatever the situation that I'm overthinking is. But overthinking will hinder you more than you realize, because the
Girl,
more that you think about it, the less time that you are putting in to make it work.
girl, say it again for the people in the back, because I love how you found what works for you. Because for me, I feel like it's two different things. One is, if we have this spirit of overthinking in us, all of us have a bit and piece of it in it. It's like, manipulate that,
Mm-hmm.
trick your brain. So for me, it's like every negative thought, I have to have at least three or however many positive thoughts to like overshadow that. So that I'm still using the fact that my brain is overly thinking about something, but instead of it being something negative, it's something positive instead. Or
Right.
it's like, when you really think about the root of overthinking, what are you afraid of? What's the worst possible outcome? I grew up with my dad always telling me the worst thing they can do is say no, always ask questions. So that same skill, I turned it around and manipulated it to work in different areas in my life. So when it comes to overthinking, it's like, if you already have overly thunk the negative thing, you already know what could happen. What are you
Mm-hmm.
afraid of? Is that going to kill you? The answer is no. So
Yep.
just do it. And if you already know what could possibly go wrong, you're prepared. You can prepare yourself. You can have a backup plan. So it's like, we just have to trick our minds. I think for me, I can't speak for everyone. Um, it's like we use certain things as a crutch. And that's
Mm.
not what we learn those things for. We're supposed to use those things to help us grow and advance. But if I know that the reason why I have this issue is because of this thing, it's so easy, first instinct, to use that as an excuse, or to use that as your way
Ooh.
out of trouble, or to use that, girl, use that as this to tell people, well, it's because I'm like this, and it's because my daddy did this to me, and it's because I was. No, you went through it. You're still here.
Mm-hmm.
Stop sitting in that. Stop using that as a crutch. Use that to add to your courage to continue on and to do things that are bigger than yourself. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't use those crutches forever. You
Ooh,
gotta
you
get
can't
over
use
it.
some
You gotta move
excuses
forward.
ever.
You gotta move forward. So those are some of the things that I do to kind of rechannel that energy. It's like, if I already know what could possibly go wrong, I'm gonna prepare myself for it. You're already prepared for it because you know it. You know it exists. You're aware. Just do what
Right.
you have to do. You know?
Right.
That's how I channel the overthinking thing.
Love that. And I feel like this is a really good example of different things work for different people. Like I
Yeah.
said, I write things down and then I come back to it later. You're able to change the negative to a positive that second.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You have to take that time to, like we said, take that break, take that time to give yourself those times to look over yourself and figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
Because the only person that's going to understand you is you.
Yeah.
Because no one's inside of your head being like, oh, okay, she's thinking that, let me help her. No. The only
Yeah.
person that understands what you're going through is you and God, or whatever
Yeah.
higher power you believe in or don't believe in. But
Disclaimer. I
but
agree.
you just have to take the time to really sit and think. And I think that's the beauty of life, is that we're always changing, and that different things work for us at a different time period. Because I would have never been able to not overthink as much as I did. Like when I was younger, I would overthink everything and nothing would work.
Girl, who you telling? Girl.
Nothing would work. And I feel like different stages of your life, you just have to relearn yourself, because you're growing as a person every single day. So why are you not giving yourself the time to learn yourself? We're learning everybody else. You know exactly what Cardi B and Offset divorce is going on. You know exactly what the Shade Room doing right now. You've learned that. So why are you not taking the time to learn yourself?
And better yourself.
I don't get it, sweetheart.
It don't make no sense. But I agree. I feel like we have choices in this life, and you just got to sit with your choices. Like, you make a conscious decision before you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole little spiel. Like, time is money, and when by money I don't even mean just the currency. I mean like
Right.
the reason I think that saying exists is because people value money. So it's a way to get through to people. But it just means to me, time is valuable. It's something that you don't get back. We are never, ever, 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 ever going to get 654 back on what's today, September 22nd. We're never going to see that time again.
Exactly.
Like, let that sink in sometimes. Not all the time, because then you'll drive yourself nuts. But sometimes really think, like, I'm not going to get the next couple minutes that I might have, because that's another thing that I might have. I'm never going to get them back, so let me make the best out of them.
Oh my gosh, that just brought up a point that just came up in my heart about not to overthink. You're not, this is going to be so sad, but you're not granted tomorrow. So why wait off what you could do today, tomorrow? Yeah. Why overthink today? Well, why overthink tomorrow today when you may not have tomorrow?
That's
I know that's sad to say, but it's the truth. You don't want that unfortunate moment to happen, and all you were doing was overthinking what you didn't do, or thinking, oh dang, I could have done that yesterday. You would have been 10 times ahead where you would have been tomorrow if you would have just started today.
And Simple. If you wait on the perfect time, you're going to be waiting forever. There's no perfect time to start something, to finish something, to do anything in this world. Just do it. And yes. I know that was on some of your points, like whatever Nike said. Yeah, just do it. Like, it's so many things. Like, now I look back and I've been in this little thing where I would always tell myself, I'm going to post more pictures. Because I used to be a person that loved taking pictures and loved, like just being all social and things like that. And then somewhere along the lines, it kind of just dwindled. And I just I told myself I was getting too busy and too this. And I'm not this no more. I don't this no more. And I lost that. So this year I vowed to myself that I would. And even though this year has been crazy, and the summertime, it's like I wasn't really doing nothing but working and going home. But now I'm making up for lost time, and I'm posting pictures, I'm taking pictures, I'm doing things with my loved ones, I'm going out a little bit more, still being cautious, y'all, because we scared of the Rona. But it just happened. Like, I had goals. I'm like, I want to reach this, whether it's social media goals, whether it's life goals, and I stopped thinking so much about waiting for the perfect time and making it perfect and making it make sense that I just started to do it. And now it's making sense. Now everything is aligned. I had to take that first step, though. If you don't ever take that first step, you're not even going to set yourself up for all of the things that are waiting on the other side for you. So right. I just do it. Like, now, I don't think too much. If I have an idea, I'm executing it as soon as possible. I'm not even saying, oh, I'm going to do it on this. Nope, as soon as possible. Whatever makes sense to me, whatever feels right for me is what I'm doing. And I encourage you all to do the same. I know it's somebody on here that's sitting on an idea, that's sitting on something or started something and kind of put it to the side. Go back to that side and pick it back up, dust it off. We want to see. Show exactly. Me what's going on.
Ready to see it. Let me know, because if I can help, I'm with you.
No, seriously, please.
Because if it wasn't for my friend exactly telling me, all right, so like, what you waiting on? We wouldn't be on this live right now.
See?
Because I was overthinking. But I think that was an amazing way to end this off. Because I do not want Instagram to be disrespectful.
Kick us out. Yeah, that's embarrassing. They be trying to exactly. How you gonna kick us out the club? Like,
they can't even get in. But any final thoughts, anything that you want them to follow? Obviously follow both of the socials that are down there, but she got a lot more socials right there, so I'm gonna just let you end off for real quick.
Y'all can look at those bios to find all my other babies. Be sure to support. But enough about me. I just want to shout out Alicia. She is doing her thing, y'all. Okay, thank you so much for having me. This has been such a freeing experience. Your energy is amazing. Everybody, please support and follow her as well. The merch, I need to go ahead and look to see what I need to order, honey, because it's fall time. You know you don't like the fall. I know you got some pieces for us. So thank you just so much for everything. This experience has been amazing. You've been amazing. And I look forward to collaborating with you some more. So everybody, please make sure you guys go support her podcast, her merch, her period. And yes, that is all that I have to say.
Thank you. But no, like I'm glad that I was outside because now it just feels like that was such a breath of fresh air. Like it just felt like I needed to have this conversation. And if I needed to have this, I hope that this was beneficial for everyone that was on the call or on the live at any point of the time. I'm going to definitely put this on my page